Hi, and welcome to LinkedIn for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Julia Zata, a LinkedIn strategist and ghostwriter, and lover of all things practical when it comes to visibility strategies. This podcast is for service-based business owners who want to build their brand on LinkedIn, attract new clients, collaborators, and speaking engagements without overthinking every post or sounding like a corporate robot. And yes, we're going to keep it actionable and fun. Let's dive in. Let's talk about engaging on LinkedIn. Now, we talked about it a little bit in the previous episode, so if you haven't listened to that yet, you might want to go back and check it out. Today, I want to walk you through different forms of engagement in a little bit more detail. And this is important because if you're a service provider or a coach trying to build visibility and relationships on the platform, and you're not really sure how to do that, this is going to help you. I'm going to walk you through how to make LinkedIn feel like a place where you actually enjoy showing up. Here's the thing about engagement. Most people do one of two things. They either don't engage at all and wonder why nobody's booking calls with them, or they go straight in with a cold pitch and wonder why people are ghosting them. And the second category is what's given engagement a bad name because we've all received those cold pitches. I see that all the time when I log into my clients' accounts. We will connect with somebody and next thing you know, they send us this spiel with a link to book a call with them. They spend no time getting to know my client. They go in with an ask. They make a ton of assumptions and then they follow up several times when we don't respond. And it's like, oh, this isn't how it's done. There's no asking for consent. There's no conversation. There's no relationship building. And that's why people feel weird about engaging because they don't want to be that person. And if that's you, you don't want to be that person and you don't have to be. There's other ways to go about engagement. So let's talk about it. The best way to start is with commenting because when you comment, you start to get to know what content the people you are building relationships with are sharing, what they're about. You can read the comments from their community members, see what they're saying, and get a feel for this person, for their community, their energy, and whether it's somebody you want to build relationships with and network. So commenting is a great way to start and to warm people up to you because you're not just going in with a cold pitch. And so when should you comment on their posts? Well, you can comment when you see a post that resonates with you and sparks an idea or a feeling and you want to share that. You could also ring the bell in their profile so that you're notified every time they post so you have more opportunities to see their content and jump into the conversation. And in their posts, you always want to acknowledge what they've said. You want to tag them so they will be notified that you've commented on their content. And you want to add some type of value, meaning your opinion, how you feel, what you believe, but especially you want to avoid just summarizing what they just said because there's tons of bots out there and lots of people using bots for commenting, and all these bots do is summarize what your post says, and it's very unoriginal, it's inauthentic, it adds zero value. So don't comment in a way that you sound like a bot. Ask a question, use also emojis to show what you're saying to reinforce the delivery of your comment, and try not to just summarize what the other person has said, but add something in your own tone of voice. And then once you have engaged in their content, you can use DMs to take that relationship further. So what I do not recommend is pitch your offer right away, send links in the first message without any context, or act as though someone owes you a response, which is what people do when they cold pitch you and you don't respond. They follow up by saying, hi, hello, are you there? Have you got a chance to read my previous message? When the message has been left on read purposefully. So that's what not to do. What you can do is send a short intro just to say, hi, thanks for connecting. I'm so glad to be in your network. If you see something about their profile that stands out, or a recent conversation that happened in the comment sections of a post. You want to mention that and keep it natural and try not to really force the conversation. The conversation will evolve naturally as you continue to consume their content and get to know them. You don't have to take the conversation in any direction right away, and you're definitely not trying to sell anything right away. You're just trying to get to know the people in your network. When you're sending DMs from your desktop, you have an option which is to star conversations, and so that's what I use when I have conversations that I want to come back to. I star those conversations, and then I remember to check in weekly or fortnightly just to follow up. And then another thing you can do to build relationships in the DMs is check your email list. Like if you have an email list, if you're sending regular emails, who has been opening your emails lately? Who has clicked on the links inside of your emails? Those are really warm followers. And so if you can find those followers on LinkedIn and follow up in the DMs, it's great. You're just opening the conversation. You're showing that your DMs is a safe place to connect and chat. So for example, recently I noticed that one of my email subscribers had clicked on quite a few links on my latest email. So I slid into her DMs and said, hey, I'm wondering if you've had a chance to check out my new podcast. If you haven't, no pressure at all. I would just really like to hear your thoughts on it. And then she responded by saying, well, it's been on my to-do list for ages, but because your podcast isn't showing in the app that I use to listen to podcasts, I still haven't listened to it. And that was great information for me to know. I had no idea. So I uploaded my podcast to that podcasting app, and then I let her know. I was like, hey, guess what? It's now on your favorite podcasting app, and so hopefully that'll make things easy for you. And that was it, But now I can re-enter the conversation, or she can re-enter it when she wants to. But the idea here is to open a channel of communication and not weird. That's the basic concept. Another way you can start conversations in the DMs is if you have created an event on LinkedIn. For example, if you're hosting a webinar, a challenge, a free training, you can create a LinkedIn event and then invite your connections to join. And when somebody RSVPs, you can follow up by saying, hey, thanks so much for signing up. Just a heads up, this is the link to register. Or after the event, you could say, I hope you were able to join the call. If you weren't, this is where you can find the replay, or let me know if you have any questions. Again, a conversation starter, and your job is to be helpful, not to actually try and pitch anything. And another important thing of respectful, ethical DM conversations is to always ask for consent. So before you send over links, before you try and get people to do something, it's good practice to ask them, would you like me to send you the link? Would you like to have more information? Rather than just sending stuff over. Because I don't know about you, but when people send me things without asking for consent, they're basically giving me homework that I didn't ask for. Now my homework is to go and listen to that podcast episode, or click the link, or book a call with them when I never asked for that to begin with. So be mindful of people and of their time, and realize that when you're sending information without asking for consent, you're basically overloading that person, and it's not helping the relationship. Because the famous saying from Maya Angelou is, people will remember how you made them feel. And so if you make people feel overwhelmed or uncomfortable or invaded in their personal space, which DMs is a personal space, it's not a good way to kick off a relationship. Okay, so another thing that happens on LinkedIn often is that people will send over invites for a coffee chat, or you can be the one initiating the coffee chat invitation, which I think is a great way to get to know your network. And the way I view coffee chats is like a personal one-on-one networking session. So again, not a place to pitch anybody, not a discovery call. It's just a chance to get to know your network and explore potential collaboration opportunities. So when I book coffee chats with people, it's usually with industry peers, people who could be referral partners and whose work complements mine, like web designers, branding experts, email marketers, etc. And on these calls, I ask people, okay, tell me a little bit more about what you do in your business. Tell me a little bit more about who your ideal client is. And the reason I ask these questions is I basically look to see, like, how can I support this person? Is there a way I can be helpful to them? Is there anybody in my network that I could refer them to or introduce them to? So that's why I'm asking. And then when they ask me the same question in return, I tell them about my visibility calls. I tell them about my content membership. I tell them about the types of clients I typically work with, so they know what I do and who I'm looking to be connected with. And that's how I conduct my coffee chats. It's to connect with industry peers, figure out if there's a way that we can collaborate and cross-refer each other. And it works because this helps spread word of mouth. I've then had people tell me, oh, I heard through the grapevine that you have a content membership, or I heard you're the person to go to for LinkedIn content. So if you have time, it's worthwhile building these relationships because it builds your reputation and it strengthens your network. That's it for today's episode, but before you go, I want to let you know that doors to the LinkedIn Content Hub open today. This is my private membership for service providers who want to consistently show up on LinkedIn like the experts they are without spending hours figuring out what to say. Inside the hub, you get weekly content prompts, templates, monthly strategy calls, Voxer support, and a private podcast feed so you can learn on the go. If you've been craving structure, support, and strategy to help you attract dream clients on LinkedIn, this is it. Sign up today with a link in the show notes, and I look forward to seeing you inside. Thanks for tuning in to LinkedIn for Entrepreneurs. If you found this episode helpful, please share it on LinkedIn or on your favorite social media platform. And if you really want to make my day, leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps more business owners find this show. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.